Well, hi there, everybody. Here we are, we're back. And we're gonna do some crappie fishing. I don't mean crappie like poopy. I mean, we're gonna do some crappie fishing. It's been getting colder, as everybody knows. It's December. I'd say about 42 degrees, which is pretty nice. I stopped here this morning, here at the pond, and it was all frozen over. So I figured I'd come back here this afternoon, and we have our, I don't know if you've seen our video, the Christmas rod. That's what we have here. This is our Christmas rod. It's an ultralight rod. We have a Fluger reel, and this is what we're gonna fish with today. How do you fish crappie? Well, that was the big question I needed to know. So I went to YouTube, just like you're watching YouTube right now, and I did some research. So I'm gonna show you what I found out. So here are some of the items that I picked up. And you know, of course you're going to need your jig heads, so I decided to get some smaller jig heads that I really didn't possess. I got ourselves a little Crappie Thumping King with that has a little blade on it, and of course these are some of your little shads that supposedly they go after. You know, we want a light line. I know 10 pounds probably still a little heavy, but it's what I have. And then of course you're going to need bobbers. Bobbers? You're kidding us, right? This silly little bobber is what keeps your little tiny little shad from getting too deep. When we run jigs, the jigs obviously hit the ground, and we can run this at any different level. It's not the traditional bobber style fishing that we're all used to, where you throw it in there, you grab a beer, sit on a chair, and wait for that bobber to drop. This is a little bit different. We're actually going to use the bobber to our advantage. We're going to swim our little jigs with these little Mo Glow. I guess it's Bobby Garland. He's the guy. So, you know, I decided to grab his baits. You know, I stayed with one type of bait. Let's see if that's going to pan out or not. Pan. We're going to throw that in there. Pan fish. We're pan fishing. All makes sense, right? All right, so I want to tie a leader onto my rod right now. I'm running a lighter braid. It's about a 12 to 15 pound braid, but I want to put a monofilament leader on there. So we're going to tie a leader on. This way I can get a little bit of float. Even though we're running jigs anyway, it's not really going to float. This will be my first time ever crappie fishing. I'm usually a bass fisherman, so I've run this a little bit for bass. So it's going to be really interesting for me to get in this pond and see if I can't rip out a crappie or two. Now, the whole reason I even decided to do this was I was over here bass fishing and I was having terrible luck. I was trying a bunch of different little items, you know, and I like to cast stuff out and try it. But there's this old fellow sitting here. He might be watching. And darn it if he doesn't just rip in tons of crappie out of here. I've never even caught a crappie out of here. But he was pulling like 3 or 4 crappie in on the day I was sitting here struggling with even spinner baits and all different types of baits that I was using. I could not get a fish in. It was kind of interesting to me to watch him pull all these fish in, and I basically went over, talked to him a little bit about his technique, and I watched a couple YouTube videos, watched the techniques that you have watched on YouTube, and we're gonna put it to work here. Let's see if it works. Let's get this guy off of here. And I want to tie a leader on here. Okay, now I'm going to put an Alberta knot on this for my leader. One. All right, and then once we get our 8 loops up and 8 loops back, we're going to pull those tight, give it a little love, then let go of our tag ends and pull those nice and tight. I just learned this. It's been a work in progress. There are some wonderful, wonderful videos on YouTube teaching us how to tie these knots. Really great ones. Very detailed, easy to watch. Kind of got some nice music in there. Oh yeah, I was very inspired. So I always like to give it a tug at the end. That's pretty much what you're going to be looking at. That's an Alberta knot. And then as far as your leader, 1 arm's length and then a half, and that should be about right. You don't want it to go into your eyelets if you can help it. And then we're going to tie on one of our crappie jigs. I think I'm going to start off loud. Let's give it a shot. Start off with loud and proud. So we're going to start off with our chartreuse. We're just going to do a regular fishing knot here. A couple little loops. This hook is not that big really. It's kind of a smaller hook. And we should be good to go. And some of that paint broke off actually when I tipped that up. Then we're going to keep the glow going on here. Supposedly he's glow in the dark, but not that it's super dark here, but figured out what the heck. We'll stay with the whole chartreuse theme. We can always switch it and darken it up later. We're just going to feed this little guy on here. We're going to have the hook stick up. Fairly easy, I think. Not really that big of, not that hard to set up. Now it's time for the bobber. All right, so we got about 4 feet depth. I want this thing to be close to the bottom, but maybe riding about 6 feet down. So we're going to give it about, I'm going to say about an arm's length for our cork. Listen, I didn't even bother to go out and buy a cork. This is something I found in the side of the pond years ago, and I'm like, all right, I'll keep it. I'll probably never use it. Here I am. I'm using it like so. All right, let's get out there and start casting. On to our first crappie experience. Let's make our way to our spot, shall we? Surely. Oh, you guys talk, huh? Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, got a new truck. Got the power wagons gone. It was time for an upgrade. Yeah, this was all frozen this morning. This was all frozen, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can catch anything. And I really don't feel like the bobber is doing exactly what we were hoping for. But now, just keep in mind, as that bobber dances around, if you can see that bobber dancing, the lure underneath the water is doing some dancing too. Let's see what my jig looks like behind it. Okay. I think I want to go a little shallower on this. So I'm going to move this down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little better. I really don't know. I've never done this before. So, try to keep you out of the sun a little bit. If you have any comments on the styles of crappie fishing, please comment. I'd be so interested to know what your thoughts are. As I said, I'm not a crappie fisherman by any means. Usually, well, maybe I'm a crappie fisherman, but I'm not a crappie fisherman by any means. So far, this seems like it's more of a waiting game. I am getting very chilly. You know, when I'm casting out and back, out and back, out and back, I feel like I'm warmer because I'm constantly moving. Here, I'm not really moving all that much. This is reminding me a little bit of maybe what ice fishing is. Oh yeah, this is very cold. This wind is blowing right at me. I feel like the temperature has dropped about 10-15 degrees since I started. Okay, let's see if we can get this out a little bit further. Wow, that wind is very powerful. And with the bobber out there, it's just kind of pulling it. They say once you find one crappie, you're probably going to have pretty good success. Oh, I thought we had one there, but I think we got caught up in some weeds. So let's get this guy back here. Well, he certainly got the wind working with us. We got a little bit of weed factor there. We could probably allow this guy to kind of send us out and allow the wind to kind of let our lure kind of just cross our path here. All right, I decided to do a little old school bobber fishing. I got my bobber left out there. I am freezing cold. I bet the temperature has now dropped probably 15 degrees. As you can see, the sun is setting. We're here at the pond. And as that sun inches down, the temperature seems to be going down right along with it. So I'm leaving my bobber out there floating. We do have a nice breeze, so my bobber is actually kind of moving along and bringing that jig along with it. So let's get a sweatshirt on and we'll get back over to the bobber and see if it's down. That's more better. So we got a sweatshirt on, a little more comfortable. It's amazing what one layer can do for you. Just really warmed me up. I mean, I couldn't take it anymore. It's windy, it's cold, and it's getting dark. And I don't know if you can see our bobber, but our bobber is not down. Not like the old days when I was a kid. I used to throw a bobber in there with a garden worm. And every time I come back, man, there'd be a catfish or a sunfish. So I don't remember catching bass as a kid, but always caught something. So we're gonna bring that in, get another cast out, and basically it's just a matter of right now just finding them. Once we find them, we can keep targeting an area, and hopefully we'll be able to catch more than one. I guess, you know, really, to be honest with you, if I catch one, it's gonna be exciting. My lips are starting to get tight because it's getting cold, so I apologize if I start slurring a little bit. I haven't been drinking, I swear. I'm not sure if this is the best way to set up a crappie bobber. So if you're watching this, please, 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 let me know in the comments. I'm usually not crappie fishing. You know, I'm usually fishing for bass in here, and I've caught some really nice bass. I didn't even know crappie were in here, to be honest with you. Watching that one fellow over here, he was just zapping them, and it was really fun to watch. It's always nice to know somebody's catching something. So I said, all right, well, let me get some lures. I've got this Christmas rod here, and I'll tell you the story about the Christmas rod. If you check out this link, the link will be right up here. That's the story of my Christmas rod and how I obtained this rod. Go check that out. What are you doing? Go check that out. What are you doing watching this silly video for? We're not gonna catch any fish. Go watch the story about my Christmas rod. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for subscribing. We've reached over 1,000 subscribers now, which is super exciting. So really appreciate you guys watching. While I got you here, if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. Always hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the little bell. And when we put out another video, it'll let you know that there is another video of us out here, because it's so super exciting. Well, if I'm catching fish, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, the guy catches fish. First time ever crappie fishing. And this is my first time crappie fishing. I never crappie fished before. Of course, I throw bobbers out there with worms on them. But as far as this style of the drag and working the bobber, this is the first time I've ever done that. And as you can see, I'm not really working a bobber now. So back to work. Let's get some crappies. Let's get those crappie fish. Now I've worked jigs, you know, and I've let them kind of get to the bottom and do their little dance. So this is a first for me. I kind of thought I had a legitimate hit. But when I brought it back, I found that I kind of rushed the cast, and when I did, my bobber actually slid up. So what I thought was a legitimate hit was me dragging along the bottom and weeding up. Made me excited. If nothing else, I had a little excitement here on my first crappie fishing experience. I kind of felt like crappie fishing was going to be a little bit more, I don't know. In the cold weather, I kind of thought it was going to be a better cold weather fishing technique. The fish are out there, right? People ice fish, so I can't figure out why the fishing's so terrible this time of year in this transitional type of temperatures. I thought crappie fishing was going to be the bam. So, you know, I probably put about 50 bucks in the lures. I didn't put any money into my bobber. Maybe that's where I went all wrong. And I am cold. Chile. Well, I gotta tell you, this crappie fishing isn't all it's crapped up to be. And I did say crap. Really cold out. It's the end of the day, as you can see. Bobber's out there. My jig is hanging out. Pull my jig along. It's just a gigolo. And he isn't doing much of anything. No luck today, pretty cold. Gonna make our way back to the truck. My fingers are absolutely freezing. I think we're gonna make our way down to get a cup of coffee. Yeah, a cup of coffee sounds good right now. Warm us up a little bit. Whoop. That goes there. This kind of reminds me in reverse of fishing a Carolina rig. You know, as far as the casting and all goes. It's always fun going out, giving it a shot. As I said, we got a nice sunset, really nice sunset. I don't think this will be our last crappie experience. We'll probably try another crappie experience some other day. So, really appreciate you guys watching. I don't even catch any fish, but it's really cold. So just coming out and getting an opportunity to get out here, enjoy that sunset, to do some fishing, that's always fun. So as I said, I enjoyed the day. Really chilly on the hands. I wanted to do this video earlier this morning, but the water was frozen over, so I didn't really get that opportunity. And so that was it for crappie fishing. We didn't catch a fish today, but if nothing else, this will be an introductory into crappie fishing with some of the items that we're starting off with. We started out hot, but that really bright chartreuse might not have been the best lure to start off with. Tomorrow, we're gonna try more of the natural colors. I've got the white jig head, and I did try to order a gray jig head, but they're out of stock. So, what's that tell you? If there's crappie stuff that's out of stock, that must mean somebody's catching fish this time of year. So I'm hoping I might be one of them. But it started off cold and it's ending cold. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Well, it's day 2 and we're going to give crappie fishing another shot. All right, so now we're at a private spot here. So there's a very good chance we could get kicked out of here, but we're going to be using our ultralight. Again, another sunny morning, but it's chilly. Well, we're not having too much success as of right yet, and I haven't even seen a fish. But this is what we're looking at. Very nice area. I'm told there's some big muskies in here. So far, crappie fishing has not been cracked up to what I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for some more success, but it is very cold. I mean, like I said, it's in the 30s. No fish seems to be biting at this point. Got a pretty good cast on this with that weighted cork bobber. Well, it's day 3 on the crappie fishing, and I haven't been having any success yet. Today I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to leave the chartreuse jig head on. I think I'm going to switch over to a lighter colored white, and we'll give that a shot. We got a few minutes here. We're going to head over to the pond, throw a few casts in, and see if we can't finally attract a crappie. It's been a tough go so far. Okay, we're here. We're at the pond. Remember I was telling you how it's cold? Well, guess what? The pond is frozen. We got a few, I'm slipping on ice right here. We got a few spots out in the middle that aren't frozen. Pretty much where I want to fish is iced over. And that's the reason I decided to come out crappie fishing, is basically get some of those cold water fish to come out and play. It's been really a rough go. We have been on that verge of each night we're hitting in the low to mid 20s. So this is what we sometimes come against in the mornings. It's frozen over. I'll try to cast one in, just see if it breaks through the ice, but I'm not feeling it. I decided to take a piece of ice in one of these puddles, and you can see we have a pretty thick ice. I don't think I'm gonna be able to break through this, so I don't know if it's gonna be worth it or not. We're gonna leave this this color jig on as it whacks you in the face. We have a lot of ice. I've took 3 or 4 casts and I basically just bounced off the ice. But I finally found this little puddle. I was able to get it in. That's what we're working with there, but I do not know if I'm going to be able to get my lure back out. Let's see what I can do here. And that was, oh, we got it. We got it. We got it. But we'll see if we can get it back in that puddly area. So there I am laying up on the ice. I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, it's kind of fun. That's a good cast. Oh. Oh, my bobber darted into the ice and it's just stuck in the ice, and oh, there we go, right to the water. There we go. Good, good, good. Let's give it a little more tug. We need that jig to fall in the water. Jig's in the water. So we're going to fish this little spot. Talk about ice fishing at its best. I've never ice fished before. I'm doing a lot of things I've never done before. Never crappie fished. Never bothered to really fish when I had some ice cover like this. Let's let this soak. And let's take a little walk down here just to kind of see how frozen we are at this spot. I do see we have some open water out there a little bit. All right, so we made our way all the way down to the other end of the pond, and it's completely frozen over. So I really don't think we're gonna have any success in that spot either. I do have a very nice puddly spot there, but it's just a bit far. I don't quite think I'm gonna be able to get this light jig that we're using here for the crappie fishing out there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get there. My lure's out there with the cork bobber. Haven't seen any really hits. This is really targeted fishing, and right now I'm in the middle of the pond, and I really believe that where we see those more watery areas that aren't frozen over is some of the deeper areas. I've been out here on my kayak, and that's what I think it is. I don't think we're gonna have any success today. I really can't do any kind of jig work with it because I really can't reel it in. You know, we gave it a shot. It's kind of comical actually the first few times I hit the ice. Oh, yeah. We'll come back maybe this afternoon and we'll see if the water has melted off. Tomorrow is supposed to be in the 50s, and if it is, we'll see if we can get back out here. I'm sure the water might be melted off, and we'll give it crappie fishing another shot. This is our third attempt with no success. This one has been the reason for not catching fish on this one. I can handle. The water's frozen. Can't get through the ice, and how are you going to get to the fish? So I get that one. Well, we'll give it another shot tomorrow or later this afternoon and see if we have some ice melt, and if we do, we'll give it another shot. Stay tuned. Today we're going to do our final installment of crappie fishing. I've gone to, I would say, probably about 3 different spots now. I haven't really had any success. I'm going over to the only place that I've ever caught a crappie fish, or crappie as some will call it. So I'm gonna make my way over there. This will be my final installment. We've gone 3 times already. This will be the 4th time going out. Maybe crappie fishing isn't all cracked up to be what they say it is, but we're willing to give it one more shot. Stay tuned, let's get out there. All right, as I get ready here, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you all so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate you guys watching. It's always fun to catch a fish on video. It doesn't always happen. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and enjoying them. And today we're gonna do some more crappie fishing, or at least give it a shot. I really hope that we bring a crappie in. It would really be kind of disappointing if it doesn't happen. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that would be great. Hit that like button, I'll put it right up here. Hit that subscribe button, I'll put that over here. And you know, if you're enjoying the video and you'd like to share it, please do. And I appreciate you guys following along. Hopefully we'll bring in a couple crappie today. Day 4, crappie fishing. So I was walking out here with a pair of gloves, and I got halfway out here and oh crap, I forgot one of my gloves. I cannot find it. I'm basically from here to my truck over there. I have no idea where it went. It's chilly here this morning, It's another winter crappie day or winter crappie fishing day. There's a nice little rock pile under there that I've been able to fish. I'm gonna put my bait over top and see how it goes. All right, first cast here this morning. Today is New Year's Eve day. We're gonna put out this little jig. See what happens. So the crazy thing about today, other than losing one glove, and I had them both on. I'm probably going to be able to look on the camera and see where I lost them, because I was talking to you and I had my gloves on at that moment, and then suddenly may just had a bite. Hard to say. I'm going to switch over to white jig head with a gray white bottom. I'll show it to you. Okay, so this is next up. Little jig head, little white jig head with kind of a black and white belly. And then I do have a little spinner that I want to throw on. So we'll try this and then we'll try the spinner. Okay, we're making our change. And we're going to lighten it up here. A little more natural. But that's what we're going to go with next. We're certainly not ripping them. No crappies out as of yet. So we're gonna slowly reel this in. Maybe it caught my last video that we just did. This lake was half frozen, but our plan was to get out here and do some fishing. We were a bit surprised by the freeze, but we still decided, you know what? Let's go out there, fish what we can. We've got 2 bass on a couple different crazy lures. Well, I wouldn't say crazy, but jerkbait. And we also caught one with the drop shot. The jerk bait would stay suspended, kind of like this bait here. We all know drop shot, that's only a few inches off the bottom. So where are the fish this time of year? Basically, the whole reason I'm even crappie fishing is because I want to catch some fish here in the wintertime. And it's been very difficult to catch fish in the winter, as we all know. So I thought I would change it up a little bit and try crappie fishing. I was at a pond, and I mentioned this at one of my earlier days of crappie fishing. This fella was just ripping them in, and I couldn't catch a bass. I couldn't catch anything. I was really struggling. I got braided line with a monofilament leader just to kind of get some float, you know, so allow that to kind of really just kind of glide. Is my thinking anyway. I mean, I haven't caught a crappie yet. So I don't know if I'm the guy to be watching right now to say, oh man, that guy can catch crappie fish. I'm gonna do what he's doing. I'm just basically following the rules of some of the videos that I've seen. And there's some guys out there, they are crushing crappies. So I'd like to be one of those guys. So I'm fishing the same items they are. I don't know, guys, the struggle is real. Really no signs of life at all. And I don't know, this crappie fishing is exactly what it's called, crappie fishing. I think we're just gonna go right off the dock and see what happens. At least I'm another 20 feet into the lake. I gotta tell you, to be honest with you, crappie fishing so far has been a real letdown. You know, it stinks because you put an investment in the lures. Maybe I got about $30 invested in lures. By the time I bought 3 packages of soft baits, 2 packages of jig heads, and 1 package of spinner baits, which I guess I'll do that next. I mean, we're not getting anything here with the jig heads with the little soft baits, so I'll try that last one. I mean, I gotta give it an opportunity. Okay, here it is. The absolute last one that we're gonna give a shot to. It's got a little split tail here, a little spinner. It's got everything going on for it. Just to give you an idea of what a pain in the ass this one was to tie on. I mean, here's my scissors. I mean, everything that you could go wrong is going wrong. So maybe it's the one. This is our last attempt at crappie fishing. Oh my goodness. Yet another issue I didn't put out my bail. So this is what I'm thinking is happening. We're likely gonna catch something on this. I don't know, I just have this weird feeling about it. Even my bobber got pulled down. I'm gonna leave that be. Something's telling me, let's do it. Let's just do it. By no means subtle. I mean, we've got colors, we've got spinners, we've got grub style tails, split tail. I mean, everything that you could talk about being loud, this one's being loud. And now we're also about a foot shallower because of the bad cast. Saying, hey man, you're fishing too damn deep, you gotta get higher. We'll find out. He looks good. I like it. Now let's see if I like it. Picasso. Let's see if he can go catch us something. I'll tell you what will warm me up. Not just a cup of coffee, a crappie. That would warm me up. That would certainly warm me up. Oh, we just had a legitimate hit. Like, pulled it under, legitimate hit. This might be the one, guys. That was the closest thing of a hit I've had so far, so that's pretty exciting to me. Let's get back out there. At least we have some signs of life. So normally when I'm fishing, I fish with some confidence. Like, I feel like, wow, I'm here, I got the right lures on. It's just a matter of finding where the fish are and catching them. I'm not feeling that way with the crappie fishing. I had that one hit and I was really super excited, but since then it's been just kind of, maybe I should be fishing with corn. Maybe I should be fishing with corn. Got to be patient with the lure, and it's hard to do when you've never had success with a lure. You quickly want to take it off and start fresh. Well, we've been going with this one lure here, the spinner split tail jig lure here. No success. I decided to go ahead and take what we had there. We were about a foot drop off the bobber. I took it to 2 feet. Still nothing. I'm back down to 3 feet now. Still nothing. So gonna kind of put it away. I just not feeling it. For me, crappie fishing just isn't really like lighting me on fire. This is my 4th outing with crappie fishing, so I feel like I gave it a fair opportunity. It's been cold, and that's why I'm doing it. From what I understand, the winter crappie fishing is very good. Just not feeling it. Just not having the success. I'm on my 3rd different type of lure. None of these lures really feel like, wow, now that's the one that's gonna go. I mean, this last one that I put on with the spinner on it has very nice movement, and I'm hooked up. I was gonna say, maybe that's the end of the lure. Let's bring it back and see if we lost it. Looks like I still have it. And here's where we're at now. I would say we're about 30 inches, maybe. About 30 inches from where my bobber set is. You know, leave a message in the comments. If you're somebody who likes crappie fishing, you know, maybe there's a lure out there that I'm missing. I'm here in New Jersey. It's cold. For winter fishing, definitely, for sure. Some people are gonna say, it's just too cold. Listen, there's ice fishing out there, so you can't give me that it's too cold. Now, granted, you're going to do better when it's not so cold. I think that's going to really conclude this video, which kind of stinks. I was really hoping that crappie fishing was going to be the new winter time fishing for me, but it's just not coming to fruition. This type of fishing just doesn't come into fruition. This is starting to turn into the new norm. Maybe I should be what not to do when fishing with Kirk. I do catch them, I really do. I know you don't believe me. All right. Guess what, everybody? We got one. But we didn't catch a crappie, we caught a bass. Well, so much for crappie fishing. We're back to bass. All right, I'm a bass fisherman. What can I tell you? But we did catch him with crappie bait, It's a tiny little guy. He's kind of skinny. He needs to eat. So let's get him back in the water, everybody. Not at all what I expected. Not at all what I expected. Thanks, buddy. And you can see the bottom of their lip. See how that's all red? That means they're rooting around down there. So that's leading me to believe that these guys are bottom feeding. So well, crappie fishing paid off into a bass fishing catch. Go figure. We are fishing with a crappie style lure, and if it's going to pull in bass, that's good enough for me. I mean, I've been casting. I probably threw 150 casts with the crappie style of fishing, and really no success at all. So even to just catch a bass, that feels pretty good. So that makes me feel better that we did catch something with this style of fishing. As I said, you know, it wasn't a crappie, and that's kind of what I'm going for, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Anything is better than nothing. I guess I would have actually been even okay with a sunny. Quite frankly, I'm happier with a bass, to be honest with you. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Happy New Year.